One of the most powerful things to realize is that you already own a company, whether you work for a large company or not. That was a great epiphany to me, is when I realized I was already in business, because I ran around thinking, like everybody else does, that there's an employee and I work for somebody else or I own the business. And the truth is, the employee model that we think of is just a facade. It's not real. We all own our own business. With that comes a whole lot of responsibility, and we feel that in the marketplace, and we see that when things don't go well. But also with that comes an incredible amount of freedom, and that's what we want to talk about today, is how you can make this work for you. You can take this principle that we call the company of one and really grow your income. You can have a bigger impact on your customers. You can you can enjoy your work more. And this doesn't mean going off and doing something crazy like borrowing money to start a company or do anything else. It could mean while you are working for one big giant beast of a company. So this is what we want to talk about. This is the Company of One model. So you are listening to the Company of One podcast. I am Dale Callahan, your host. And what I do is help professionals get control of their income, find work that they love and enjoy, and add value and worth everywhere they are. All right, so let's jump in today, though, for the Company of One. So again, the model that we're going to start with is you are earning money. It doesn't matter what you're doing, right? But you're earning money. All of us, when we go to work, we earn salaries, however that comes. And what we're exchanging for that money is service. We are doing whatever they've paid us to do, writing software, managing projects, stacking shelves, whatever it is. And this isn't about professionals, white collar, blue collar. It doesn't matter. If you are getting paid, this model fits you. So when we are earning money in exchange for service, there is a transaction that happens. Money comes into my pocket in exchange for the service. There's the transaction. And if we look at business in general, think about a Walmart. They earn money. Money comes into their pocket for exchange for the sale of goods. Or if you go get your oil changed, for this change of goods and services, right? And the exchange of goods and services for money is what we call doing business. It's how the economy operates all over the world. We exchange money for goods and services. That's what we do. And we're all experts at it because we all buy stuff. We all spend our money to get goods and services. So that's the model. And when you recognize, that's a business model. And when you recognize that when you go to work for a big giant company and they send you a paycheck at the end of the month or at the end of the week or however they pay you, they've just given you money in exchange for service. So by that very definition, they are your customer. And the key element here is the customer. I want you to really think about this. The customer is the person who takes out their money and hands it over. We're all used to that, right? When we go to a restaurant or when we go to a store, we take out our money, usually via debit card now or something, but we take our money and we hand it over, and we are acting as the customer. The other is acting as the business. But when we get paid at the end of the month, direct deposit, doesn't matter how it happens, we are being paid as a business by our customer. The people that give us money are the customers that we serve. Now that was a big wake-up moment for me because I worked for a Fortune 100 company for some time, and when I used to not have the best relationship with my bosses, I was confrontational because I felt like things should be done better. I wanted to argue with them. And looking back, what I was missing was those people were my customer. It didn't matter that maybe they weren't doing things the best, that they were middle management, that their brains had shut down years ago. All that may be true, but I was still set there to serve them. And by being confrontational and doing some of the things I did, it damaged some of that, not salary wise or anything necessarily, but it caused me grief with my customer that did not need to be there. There were better ways to get the same result I was getting without all the drama. So that's where you are. So I want you to recognize when you go to work, whoever you are working for, I want you to just imagine right now that person who pays you or who authorizes your pay, because it may not be your immediate boss that pays you, right? It probably comes from some CFO in the sky kind of thing if you work for a big company. But your boss is authorizing it directly or indirectly. Your boss's boss, and these people are your customer. And it's complicated because it's not just your boss, it's your boss and your boss's boss and your peers. They all have a say and an impact on whether you keep your job, and that's important. So what we want you to think about right now, though, is every company has 4 major roles. You are a company. That's what I'm trying to say to you. You are a company. You own the company. You are the CEO. You make the strategic decision. But you also have 4 roles. Every company, no matter what the size, has 4 major roles. Operations, they do the work. Marketing, how they brand themselves, how they sell their products. Finance, what they do with their money. And research, paying attention to what's going to destroy them and where their opportunities are in the future. So let me just take those apart very quickly for you. Operations is what you do and how you do it. I was spending time the other day talking with a group about operation. We all think we do our job well. This is the part most of us think we do well. Yet we waste a lot of time that they're paying for. We sometimes don't get the results that our customers want, number one, because we don't really know what they want because we haven't talked to them. And that's the magic here, talking to your customer and listening to your customer. That's the thing you want to focus on. But we don't know what they want, and even if we do, we waste a lot of time in meetings and emails, and just we're not that productive. We're not near as productive as we think we are. We may work long hours, but it's not always a winning hours. So when we're talking operations, it's it's what do you do and how do you get the work done. It's your competence, your ability to do your work. But when employers hire, they know that it's a lot more than just competence. You got to be able to get along with the team. You got to be able to communicate what you've done. All those kind of things matter. But it's all operations, doing the work. If you're showing up late, if you're missing deadlines, if you're kind of living in chaos, your operations is broken. Your operations, not the company's. And what we want to do a lot of times is we want to say, well, I can't do my job because of that, or I can't do my job because of this. And that may be true, but you are a company, right? If you were the owner of a Chick-fil-A or the manager or whatever they call it in a Chick-fil-A, I think operator, if you're the operator of a Chick-fil-A at some location and there's no chicken, right, you are going to be on the phone. If you have to drive across country, you're going to solve that problem because you are the operator. Yes, it may be somebody else's problem and distribution and everything, but you own it. You make it happen. So the blame game doesn't work here when you own your own company. You're in a big beast of an organization, but we always are. So ask yourself, how can I make my daily work smoother, faster, more consistent, and more productive for my customer? So the number one thing that you can do here in operations that's going to have a lot to do with marketing is talking to the people that you serve, your boss, your boss's boss, your peers, and just say, hey, what do I do for you? Don't run in talking. You don't have to sell yourself. You're just asking questions. What do I do that's valuable? What do I do that's not valuable? Where do you think I'm wasting my time? What do you need me to do more of? Just ask curious questions, and ask them a lot in different settings, and just take note of, hey, what works and what doesn't, because you're probably spending a bunch of time doing things that do not matter, and you're likely spending you're likely not doing some things that they really wish you would do, or they are expecting you to do. So that's operations. So flip into that is marketing. So every place has marketing, just like operations, right? So we think about Walmart. You go into Walmart, the shelves are stocked, there's stuff moving, things going on, trucks are rolling. That's all operations. Marketing is all in front of your face as a customer as you walk into Walmart. Everything you see, the colors, where things are put, everything is about marketing. It's about that our marketing is communicating value. Operations is adding the value. Marketing is communicating, hey, I can serve you, or I have served you in this way. It's not about bragging. That's empty. There's nothing there, and that's not effective. It's about making sure the right people know what you did and that you did it, because it's part of the feedback loop. In corporations, there's a terrible feedback loop. Most managers don't know what you are doing. Your boss probably doesn't know all you're doing. I can almost guarantee it. And if they do, you're a rare breed, and you may be fooling yourself, by the way. So you need to find a way to communicate what you have done. And I've seen this done in simple ways, like a weekly email to the boss that says little bullets, here's what we did last week. And it's, the reason I say it's not bragging is because your boss is going to be in meetings. They're going to be out there doing other things that you're not doing, and they need communication points. They need updates. They're going to be talking about your work. And you might as well tell them what's going on, so they're not having to call you and interrupt and do all this kind of stuff. Keep them in the loop of how things are going. And then they can speak about how their team and you are doing. So that's the most powerful marketing, is when you hear what your customer wants, start communicating to them how you've done that and how you've served. Most professionals, most, and let me say most is 99.9%. People don't do this. They don't do it well, and we see the people who do, and we have funny names for them, right? People who are all about themselves, talk about themselves, take credit for things they shouldn't, and are always up in the boss's business. That's not what we mean. We mean effective communication, staying out of their way, letting them do their job, but communicating what is going on. So inside a company, it looks like, sharing the wins, even communicating about the things that are not going well. Hey, these things are not going to be on time. That's a mixture of operations and marketing. And the reason that's marketing is because you're still communicating that you're adding value. We are working on this. Something's gone wrong. We're getting it fixed. You're communicating. We are handling it. And even when things aren't perfect, we need to be doing that. So there's huge power in marketing, and most of us don't take advantage of it. Most of us are really, really terrible at it. Most of us feel like we're a used car salesman when we talk about things like this. That's not what we're doing. We are trying to communicate effectively. And by the way, we're always communicating to our customers, our current customers. We're always marketing. And think about when you go to a Chick-fil-A or some restaurant and they say, "My pleasure." That's marketing. When they just have things in their bag with their logo on them, that's marketing. When they just communicate to you about, "Hey, we're running behind, can you get in this other lane?" Believe it or not, that's marketing. They're showing you how they're adding value because they're moving along. So that's how you're dealing with current customers. But there's also future customers, and we all have future customers. And that's the people we might be working for in the future. whether we own our own company in the formal sense, or we are working for a larger company, we'll have another job. And you're always looking at your future customer. So marketing, when you're out there on LinkedIn or some platform, and you're presenting yourself into the professional market, that's marketing. People notice you in a good way. And again, it's not bragging. It doesn't have to be you talking about yourself. Actually, some of the best marketing you can do is asking lots of questions and being curious and interested, because nobody does that. We all talk about ourselves, but our customers want to talk about themselves. So we'll talk more about that in other episodes. Now, the number 3. So the marketing and operations are kind of the two things we think about in companies. The back end stuff. I always think about this as the stuff you don't see in other. You see Walmart doing marketing and operations. You don't see them doing finance. That's back end stuff. Finance is simple and terrible. It's about what do you do with your money, handling the money well. For us, and I don't mean handling our money on the job. I mean they pay us. What are we doing with the money? And you're like, well, that has nothing to do with me and being in business. Yes, it's everything to do with it, because that's the whole reason you're working, is what are you doing with the money? So this is the Dave Ramsey topic, right? This is, how are you handling it? Are you making good investments? If you were the CFO for Walmart, they would be held responsible for, are they making good decisions for the money? Them and other people. But are they making good decisions with the money? Are you making good decisions with your money? Because it impacts not only how you use your money and how you can live, but it also impacts your future operations. Because you could be so far in debt, you can't take opportunities that you might want to take in the future. So run your money and your household like it's a business. I mean, you're paying for food, you're paying for electricity, you're doing all these kind of things. Manage your money as if you're trying to grow wealth, like a business would be. Dave Ramsey's a great source for that. But Ramit Sethi, in the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich, another great resource for that. The number 4 is research. This one we'll do more on this one. Now, I spend a lot of time. This is a hidden one. You don't see Walmart doing research either, but the research is paying attention to what's going to bite you in the market. When you're Walmart, you're paying really close attention to what's Amazon doing, because they have suddenly become, but they're a huge competitor. We have to pay attention to what they're doing. We have to pay attention to anybody in the market that might take over what our customers are buying from us. And maybe it's not even a market thing. We have to pay attention to AI. We have to pay attention to drones. We have to pay attention to all these different kind of things that are going to impact us in the future. So companies do this. They look at, how can I take advantages of new technologies in the short term and in the long term, and how can I be aware of what might bite us and get ahead of it. But for you need to be research. You need to be in learning mode. You need to be aware of what, if you're not, a lot of us are saying, hey, we're aware of AI, we hear about it and all that kind of stuff, but you're not doing anything about it. You're not learning anything about it. And so many people I know that use AI tools that they're like children playing with toys. There is so much incredible power here, and you, especially if you're a technical person, actually, it doesn't matter who you are. You should be using this. This is horsepower, and you're going to be left behind because somebody else is going to learn how to use it. So that's true of AI, but there's many other things out there. And in your industry, there's probably more specific things that you need to be paying attention to. So one of the things you do is you're always learning, and not just learning on accident, but intentionally trying to learn, spending time every month or every year or whatever you're doing, learning something new. So these are the 4 roles. So it's operations and marketing, it's finance and research. These are the 4 roles that you have. This is the power, though. you're in complete control of all of them. I mean, you can move your salary up by taking more control of these kind of things. You can decide who your customer is going to be. You can decide how much you'll enjoy your work, which is an awesome thing. All right, so you are already in business. It's the business. You are a company of one. So when you show up to work the next time, tomorrow, whatever day that is, you're a company. Be thinking about who your customers are. One of the most powerful things you can do is write down all the names of the people inside your company you think are customers. And it's probably a list of 3 to 10 people you serve, people that impact your paycheck. And go talk to them and say, hey, I was listening to this podcast, if you will. I think maybe you're my customer. How do you think I serve you? And just have a conversation. No script, just see what they say. It will be eye-opening, you'll learn a lot, and you'll become, just naturally, if you're human, you're going to become more effective. All right, so that's it. You're a company. We will be putting more resources together for you, but right now we have the Idea Engine. If you're looking at doing something on the side, DaleCallahan.com/Idea Engine. Go check it out and see you next time.